Welcome to this presentation on AP Classroom Resources, and most specifically, the personal progress checks and the progress dashboard. My name is Claire Lorenz, and I work on the AP instruction team at the College Board. We really appreciate you joining us today. So this is one of several presentations on AP Classroom Resources, in which we'll do a deep dive into the instructional tools that the AP program has designed to support AP teachers of art history and the arts courses. These resources can help you provide the practice and supports your students need, regardless of where you are in the school year and how instruction is being delivered. So without further ado, let's get started with this presentation on personal progress checks and the progress dashboard. If you've joined us for a presentation before, you know we like to talk about our AP instructional resources and how they provide support for teaching and learning throughout the entirety of the instructional cycle. So whether you're planning your course, teaching your course, having students practice what they've learned, assessing student progress as they go from unit to unit, getting feedback on your class's knowledge of course content and skills, or allowing students to get their own feedback on their own learning, there is an AP instructional resource that is aligned to each one of these steps. For the purposes of this presentation, we're going to be focused on stages 4, 5, and 6, and that is assessing your students' knowledge and progress using the personal progress checks at the end of each unit of the course, and then getting and giving feedback through the class and student progress dashboards. So let's start with, what are the personal progress checks? Well, the personal progress checks provide students with unit-wide formative assessment opportunities with both multiple choice and free response questions that assess students' progress of content and skills for each unit. So these are formative unit-based assessments that you can use at the end of each unit to gauge students' progress in learning course content and skills. They provide the opportunity to both get feedback from your students' performance and allow students to get their own feedback. So, in other words, giving students feedback through the reports involved in the progress dashboard. A quick note here that the personal progress checks are meant to be used at the end of each unit, while topic questions are meant to be used throughout each unit, that is, as each topic is taught. So we hope that you've had the chance to watch our presentation on topic questions. If you haven't, we encourage you to do so. But the key difference is that even though the questions that are topic questions and the questions on the personal progress checks are constructed in a very similar way, topic questions are meant to be used as you teach each topic in the unit, while personal progress checks are made to be used at the end of each unit and test all topics and skills within that unit. So a little bit about the progress dashboard. Uh, there are two versions. There's a version that the teacher sees, and there are versions that the student sees. So I want to emphasize that the class progress dashboard helps teachers identify common misunderstandings and develop targeted supports on a class-wide, small group, or individual student level. Um, by using the data that you get on the progress dashboard, it can allow you to differentiate instruction and make adjustments throughout the year as needed. So you can actually chart the progress of your students from unit to unit by class and by individual student. The student progress dashboard is the student's version of this feature, and it empowers students to take ownership of their own learning. It will highlight areas of growth for them, and it will highlight where they may need additional practice so that students can see whether or not they're improving from unit to unit, or if they're not improving and where they may need to concentrate a little bit more on their learning. I'll point out here that the progress dashboard is really meant to give a longitudinal view of class progress as you move from unit to unit in the course. So you can see whether or not students are improving, and then stop along the way to correct any student misunderstandings and or hone in on particular contents and skills where students may need that additional support. So our favorite part of these presentations is being able to go live in AP Classroom, and that's exactly what we are going to do. We'll take a look at the personal progress checks and progress dashboard. You may hear me refer to the personal progress checks as just progress checks or PPCs. These are all the same thing. So just in case you hear those acronyms throughout, please know that they're all referring to this same resource. So I'm going to bring up my login screen for AP Classroom. I am at myap.collegeboard.org. That's myap.collegeboard.org. And I'm going to use my username and password to log in here. If you'd like to follow along, please feel free to log in with your username and password. It's the same username and password you use for all College Board websites. So I'm going to click submit here. And I'm going to be taken to a personalized homepage of AP Central. I'm not going to be in AP Classroom just yet. This is going to be a personalized homepage of AP Central that is curated to me. It'll be curated to you as an AP teacher when you log in, and you will be able to see icons for the course in which you have started the course audit or have been course authorized to teach. You may just see one course, you may see two courses. If you teach 3 AP courses, you would see 3 or more. Um, no worries if you are only seeing one, that means you teach 1 AP course. For the purposes of this, I am going to actually scroll down and we will use US history as an example. And I am going to click go to AP Classroom. This will take me to the home page of AP Classroom proper, and now I will officially be inside AP Classroom. As always, I like to do a brief plug for the help menu that is a part of the AP Classroom platform. Our AP Classroom team has done a really great job to try to improve the help menu and make it dynamic and as user-friendly as possible. Just so you know, here we have both a teacher guide to AP Classroom and also a student guide to AP Classroom. Um, I'm going to let the student one load, but I'll go to the teacher guide that I already have pulled up here. And I'll say that there's always at the very top the recent additions or improvements to AP Classroom and the dates in which those improvements went live. And then there are also quick start videos. Given that this presentation is about the personal progress checks, I'm going to highlight this video that's around 4.5 minutes on unlocking a personal progress check or PPC. If you want to see this from a different perspective, or you want a really tight button pushing tutorial about how to actually click through assigning a personal progress checks, this would be a great video for you to watch. And then there are others here as well to help you navigate all of the features that AP Classroom has to offer. If you prefer reading about certain features on AP Classroom, you can use this left-hand navigation bar here, and you can go to, let's say, the personal progress checks. Um, you may want to open this folder and see what options are here. You can see that there are different entries, everything from assigning from the home page to previewing a progress check, and all of those screenshots will be annotated with a description of what each one of the buttons actually does and what you can expect if you click in certain areas. Likewise, the student version has similar features. There are no videos here for students because teachers have way more features than students do. But if I scroll down, I can actually, let's say I wanted to know what the student version of the progress dashboard would look like. I can actually click on that here, and I can see what students will see for their version of the progress dashboard and how they are getting their results from personal progress checks. So if you do want to see what students are able to view, I would encourage you to use that student guide to AP Classroom under the help menu. So let's go back to our homepage here in AP Classroom, and we're going to dig right into where the personal progress checks are. So we mentioned that you'll use topic questions to assess student understanding of specific topic skill pairings as you go through each individual topic in a course, and that the progress checks will be used at the end of a unit, and they assess all of the topic skill pairings within the unit. I'm actually going to go to Unit 5, and that's because I have some data already generated for Units 1 through 4, which we'll show you when we get to the progress dashboard. Um, I do want to say and re-emphasize from our topic questions presentations that these topic questions will always test uh, students' knowledge and understanding of the content of a particular topic along with the skill. So it will test this topic skill pairing. I say that and reemphasize it because the progress check multiple choice questions and free response questions are also going to assess the content with its associated skill together. It's just that you're going to get all topics and their associated skills on the same form or assessment form. So they're not going to be able to be separated like they are with topic questions. They're meant to be given all at the same time. So that said, you'll notice that for some courses, you may have a particular section divided into multiple parts. You can see here that the multiple choice section is only in one part, but the FRQ or free response question is in 3 parts. We broke this up in the event that you wanted to give these assessments during class time. And if your class period is only 45 minutes in length, or rather on the shorter side, we wanted teachers and students to have the opportunity to actually complete this during a class period. So anytime you see multiple sections or multiple parts here, it meant that the FRQs for this particular unit were too long to be given together all together as in one 45-minute period. It doesn't necessarily mean each one of these parts is going to need for its own 45 minutes. It just means that all 3 of them together would take longer than 45 minutes. So if you actually have a longer class period, you teach for an hour, or you're on a block schedule and you teach for 90 or 100 minutes or longer at a time, you may actually be able to assign all of these in one given class period. And I should emphasize that teachers do not have to assign this during class time. They could be assigned as homework, as extended projects, and any way outside of the classroom as is desired, so that teachers can make the most of the direct instruction time they have with students. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to mention that I can either unlock a personal progress check from here, or I can unlock it from the progress check menu that is here. So I'm just going to show you really quickly what happens and if I click on all of these individual parts. If I click on the MCQ part itself, what I am going to see is the progress check page start to load. You can see it's already taking me into the progress check menu, but it's actually going to give me a preview of the progress check itself. And I'll be able to see all of the questions that are on the multiple choice section. I'll go back to this in a second. I just want to be able to show you what happens when you click everywhere. If I X'd out of that, it takes me back to the home screen. If I'd actually just clicked on the unlock button here, it's going to just take me to the option to unlock this for my class. So if I wanted to actually preview this from the home screen, I need to click on MCQ. If I don't really want to preview it ahead of time and I just want to immediately assign it to students, I could click on the unlock button and I can adjust the settings from there. So these are all options if you are looking to unlock or preview from the home screen. The other way to do this is to go up to the progress check menu and click into the progress check menu itself. And here I am going to see uh, all of the progress checks and for all of my classes. So you can see here I have two sections of AP US history. I can actually just isolate this for one section at a time so I don't see both periods at the same time if I want. I can also see anything that is locked or open or complete. So you can see I have, and I mentioned this earlier, I have some things that are already in progress. So you see a couple of things here that are complete, some where students have submitted things. I can click to order these by unit. I can click to order them by when they were started. So I can see right here now that I've ordered it by unit, I've assigned the multiple choice for unit 1, but none of the FRQ parts. I assigned unit 2, but none of the FRQ parts. I assigned multiple choice for unit 3, but none of the FRQ parts. And then here's 4. And let's say I'm in unit 5 and I want to assign the multiple choice here. So again, I can click on the progress check here to actually view the progress check itself, or I can click on the locked version here to unlock it for my students. Or I can use the action buttons to do either one of those things separately. So there's a lot of different ways to do the same thing. I'm actually going to preview our Unit 5 multiple choice progress check, and I'm going to point out a couple of things here. You will notice this looks very similar to the formatting of the topic questions, especially if I've put them together in a singular assessment. I do want to point out that this assessment is already constructed for you. So the progress check already lives together as a form of an assessment. You can't separate these into individual questions. I can, however, look at the charm bracelets at the top and it will tell me there are 33 multiple choice questions on this assessment. And I can see all the ones that are tied together by the same stimulus via the charm bracelet. So I know these three are related and will probably use this same passage that's here. So you can see I'm on question 1. If I click to question 2, it's the same passage. If I click to question 3, it's the same passage, but 3 and 4 are not connected. So when I go to question 4, I know I'm going to get a new passage here. And then I can see that the questions 28, 29, 30, all the way to 33 are singular questions, which means that they exist on their own. They may or may not have a stimulus associated with them, but they do exist as their own standalone questions. So a couple of things to note there. Um, I can get a scoring guide for this, and I can actually click this button. And what this is going to do is it will generate a PDF file of all of these questions with the correct answers highlighted. So if I'm looking to make some sort of answer key for myself, I will have this readily available. Again, if you watched uh, our presentation on topic questions, you know that up here there were several other options. Like you could edit the quiz, or you could give a print preview for what students would see if you were to print it out for students. Those options don't exist for progress checks because of multiple reasons. One, you can't edit a progress check, right? This exists as a full form so that we can actually give you data on how students are performing. If you only had one question on one topic, skill pairing, then a student could guess and get that question correct, and we wouldn't be able to really report much on that. And so, we don't allow this to be edited so we can give you the most accurate data as possible. Two, because we want you to have the data right away and we want students to be able to have the data, the multiple choice sections of the progress check are the one thing on AP Classroom that cannot be printed. They must be assigned online. Let me say that again. Um, the multiple choice sections of the progress checks on AP Classroom are the only thing that must be assigned online. They cannot be printed. You can print a scoring guide for yourself, like is loaded here, but you cannot print a blank version of this without answers for students. And again, we do that so that you can get the data right away and so that students can get the data right away and then use that data to inform additional learning and instruction. Let me show you a couple of other things here. If we expand this question scoring and details, we'll see quite a bit of information about a particular question. We will again, just like the topic questions, see um, the correct answer and the rationale for that correct answer. You can click around and see the incorrect answers and the rationales for those incorrect answers. These are the same rationales that students will see on their end. There's also additional information about this question. So I can see this question was tied to topic 5.1 and skill 4B. And especially now that we have a whole bunch of questions together, you may want to know a little bit more like which topic skill pairing did this particular question assess. I can see that it's not part of a set, and that makes sense because it's here at the end. What reasoning process it was tied to, what historical development or essential knowledge statement it's tied to, and a lot of other information about this, including learning objective. This will change as you click around. You can see if I click on one that's part of a set, you can see that it is part of a set down here, and then it will also tell you what type the stimulus falls into. So this is a single primary source. So you can again hone in on where students are struggling. Are they struggling with primary sources, secondary sources, visual stimuli, etc.? So this can be very, very helpful to teachers and students. I can choose to either assign from here, or I can click out of this and I will be taken back to this screen. I can scroll down to Unit 5 again, and I can click here to unlock, or I can click here to unlock, doesn't matter. I'm going to click unlock, and I'm going to say, do I want to unlock this for all my classes, or do I want to unlock it for just one period? So I can just make it available for period one. I can make it available for both periods, uh, both options. Notice here that the only option is to give this online. If you've watched our presentation on topic questions, you know that there's an option for online or on paper. Remember, these are the multiple choice sections of the progress checks are the only thing on AP Classroom that must be given online. And that's so we can give you the results in a timely fashion. Again, do you want students to see the results immediately after they click submit, or at a later point? If you want a later point when you make it available, then you would click no here. Start date, due date. and then the timer. And a reminder that the timer is really for instructional purposes and to create good habits with students. If you set the timer, students are notified when the time is up that they need to submit their work. However, it will allow them to keep working past that time. In other words, it will not lock them out of the assessment, and that's really to support students with accommodations. If you really want students to be locked out after a particular time, then you'll need to use the due date feature and select a particular date and time that you want this assessment to lock. Again, under advanced settings, I can scramble question orders from one section to another. So if I wanted to say yes, I wanted to scramble the question order from my period 1 to period 2, they can do that. A quick note here, this only scrambles from section to section. It does not create scrambled versions for individual students in a singular section. And again, you can read more about this. Each class will see the questions in a different order. I could enable the lockdown browser if I wanted to. I'm not going to, it's not required. So I'm just going to click now, update here. And it'll say that the assessment is added to both of my classes, and it is going to take me to the assessment screen. So I'm back here, and if I wanted to see a little bit more about where my students are going, you can see now instead of saying locked, it says just 0% submitted. So I can actually click on this for my period 1 class, and it's going to take me to this screen where I can look at student progress. This is for my period 1 class. I can go to manage live test session. I can see which students have not started, which are in progress, which have already submitted. I can go to actions. I can pause the time for everyone. Let's say there was a fire drill or an announcement. I can resume the time for everyone. I can extend time for the entire class, or I can extend time for individual students, depending on their 504 plan or IEP accommodations. So all these can be done from the Manage Live Test screen here. I'm going to X out here. I can update any of these settings by going to update settings. If I wanted to now enforce a time limit, I could. So I can always do that from here. And you can see I have 15 students in this period 1 class, and none of them have yet started this progress check multiple choice section. In the real world, you would have your students complete this assignment. These are fictitious students, so I'm actually just going to generate some data here. I'm going to say, let's say 14 of my students have completed the personal progress check multiple choice for Unit 5. Again, you won't have this button on your end. Your students are actually going to take the assessment, but we're going to kind of fast forward through that period of time when students would actually be doing the assessment itself. And as students complete the assessment, your progress screen here will update, and you will be able to see which students have completed and which students have not. So you can see now I have 14 students that have completed, and it is scored because that's how I've set it, and it's multiple choice, so it will score automatically. And I have May Wood down here who's not yet started. I can see the date and time in which students submitted. Mine are all the same because it's auto-generated. Yours will be different depending on when students submitted and completed the assessment. I can leave individual feedback for students if I'd like. Maybe I want to give Susan Amaro a word of encouragement, or give her explicit details on something she should concentrate on moving forward. That's an option as well. But now what I will want to do is I'll want to go over to results, and I want to see how my class performed here. So I'm in results, and you can see what they've done most recently is here at the top, but any other progress check results that they've completed are all here. So you can see my period 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The only period 1 has finished Unit 5 so far. And here are my class results. Hopefully you'll know right off the bat that, green is higher performing than yellow. I'm disappointed to see these results. Again, fictitious students, but I'm going to click here and I'm going to see how students performed. And so I can see I have no students who performed in the upper 25%, none in the second 25%. And then I have 5 students down here, and the names of those students, that 5 matches the light yellow here. And then these 9 students who scored 0 to 25%, and that 9 matches here. And here is May Wood, who has not yet taken the assessment. So just like you can with topic questions, I can click into the progress check itself. And the progress check has one extra layer of results that the topic questions do not have. The topic questions had these 2 tabs for you to toggle between, but the progress checks will have this individual screen as well. So because there are around 3 questions on every topic skill pairing. And so now I can also review class average by topic skill pairing. This isn't super helpful for me right now, only because I can see that my class average is really not great for each individual topic skill pairing. But some of the things that you may want to consider doing here is that if I had seen different results, right now this is sorted by topic. What I could do is sort by skill, and that way topics that have the same skill attached to them would appear next to each other. So it's no longer in chronological order or numerical order by topic, it's in skill order. So I could see something like, okay, well, topic 5.3 was tied with skill 3C. Topic 5.11 was tied with skill 3C. If there were a difference in performance here, I may want to use that to try to make a deduction. Is the content the issue or is the skill the issue? Because if students scored 0 out of 3 on average here as a class, remember this is a class average, and 0 out of 3 here, I'm sorry, let's say they scored 0 out of 3 here and 3 out of 3 on average here, then that would probably indicate to me that for whatever reason, the students didn't understand the content in here, because if it's the same skill, they if they're able to apply it in one case, they should be able to apply it in a different case. So that might be an indication I have to do some content reteaching here. Right now, I'm not sure exactly what the problem is because I can't really see a difference to help me make a determination. I can click here and I can see which questions fell into this topic skill pairing. And I know now it's questions 9, 10, 11. And I can kind of scroll through and see how students performed here versus this one. And I can scroll through and see how students performed. And one thing I noticed right off the bat is that every single student in my class got question 10 wrong. So I can actually go to question 10 from here, or I can go to my question screen here and I can go down to question 10 and I can see all 14 students who completed this assessment got this question incorrect. So I want to remind you that the top bar actually tells you class performance on the entire assessment, but these individual bars tell you performance on the individual question, where red is incorrect and then green is correct. And obviously, again, gray is not yet taken. So if I wanted to learn more about question 10 over here, I can click into question 10 and I can see a wealth of information about this question. I will see the question together. I notice right away that this is one that has two uh, uh, um, two stimuli associated with it. And I can now start to see, okay, 0 of my students picked the correct answer choice, but I can see the majority of them chose answer choice C. And I can actually see which students, by clicking here, chose this answer choice. And I may want to read the rationale to get a sense of why students may have picked this distractor. But I know now that if I'm going to go over this with my students, I really need to pay attention to C. Maybe less, maybe secondarily pay attention to why they may have picked D, and then maybe tertiary why they may have picked A. But it helps me see that the majority of students who answered this question incorrectly picked the same distractor. And so I may want to hone in about why this distractor is distracting and why it is not the correct answer. I also can encourage students who will see the bottom portion here to watch the related AP daily video, especially if their performance on all of the topic skill pairing questions for 5.3 was not up to snuff. So you can see that this was 5.3 and skill 3C. I can see it here. I could also see it from the question scoring panel. If I expanded that again, it's 5.3 and skill 3C. I now know that questions 9 and 11 also dealt with this same topic skill pairing. That's what related questions mean. So I may really tell students, given their performance here, I could click on question 9 and I can see performance here is not so great either. And I can go to question 11 and I can see performance here is not so stellar either. And I can say to the whole class, I can go into this daily video and I can actually assign this video for my students to watch. Or I can tell students if they're going over their own work to look at the related daily videos based on the questions that they got wrong. These two students who answered this question correctly, if they also answered question 9 correctly, maybe there's a different topic skill pairing that they should be focusing on instead and watching the AP Daily video for that particular topic skill pairing. So there's a lot of individuality that can come from analyzing the results of this so that you can help target instruction for small groups of students or individual groups of students. And I should say here that the student panel will also give you that same grid-like results. I can tell right away where there seem to be more difficulty than others. I can see one of the higher performing questions seem to be this third question right here, and that at least the students who got this question wrong knew that B was not the answer because I don't see any B's here. So this can kind of help me at a high level determine where I'm going to spend the limited time I have with students in terms of going over misunderstandings or questions that were answered incorrectly. Finally, I'm going to go over to the progress dashboard. You know that we've been dealing with Unit 5, multiple choice progress dashboard, progress check here. And if I load my results for 2020, 2021 for all of my classes, I'm going to see here the individual class results. So I can see as I scroll through, um, my students in period 1 actually started off fairly decently with an average score of 9 out of 15. Then we kind of really took a plummet in unit 2, scoring on average 4 out of 18, and then 8 out of 33. And we've kind of had we're kind of stuck in this steady type of performance. And so, maybe this is a time where I need to go back and I need to kind of reemphasize certain skills, or I need to look in the coming units where those skills might be coming up so that I can double down on teaching those skills. It might be scary to see a lot of yellow here, but the truth is that we can actually use this information to kind of figure out, are students improving over time, or are we stuck in a rut for whatever reason? And then why are we stuck in that rut? Um, I can actually click on these individual classes and it will give me a list of all of the students. So I can see, despite the lot of yellow in the class level data, I do have some students that had been performing fairly well, and then maybe took a dip. And so these are all things, and I know that 2020, 2021 is a really tough year for instruction and learning all around. So this may be what your class progress looks like right now. And that's okay. okay, the issue is now, what do you do with these results, and how do we help students kind of get back on track and get them the content and skill knowledge that they need, whether that's either through reteaching or watching AP daily videos, or you maybe repracticing some topic questions. You can also reassign the progress checks at later points and dates so that students can have a second chance at doing these questions over again. You can look at multiple choice. You can also look at free response. I'm not going to have any free response here because I hadn't assigned any of those. I can go back. I can also export the details. So if you are one of several AP US history teachers, for example, in your school or in your district, and you do any uh, horizontal planning or department planning, you may want to take a look at your exported details, because this is going to be a way that you can actually share this data with others. It will open in an Excel file, and it should be fairly easy for you to manipulate if you wanted to share that data. Just going to wait for it to load here really quickly. And that exporting detail will also give you the individual student results, and it will give you class level results. Here it is. Let's bring this over. And you can see here that this is my full unit. It's got unit 1, it's got unit 2, it's got unit 3. I can keep scrolling down. It has the score date, it has points earned out of points possible, and then the percent correct. The percent correct is something that is on this exported file that is not on the progress dashboard itself. I just want to give a caution here, is that the personal progress checks are formative assessments, and that means that they are made to diagnose student misunderstanding, and they are made to be used as a learning tool to help students identify where they may need to put in more effort. These accuracy percentages should not be averaged into students' overall course grades. Um, they are meant as formative tools to help move the needle instructionally in a classroom. So it may be helpful to kind of have this data here. These should not be used in terms of being averaged into students' course grades. Okay, so that is the progress checks and the progress dashboard. I hope that you found a little bit of new knowledge here, and that this presentation has been helpful. We encourage you to watch our other presentations on AP Daily videos, on topic questions, and then on the AP question bank. If you're looking for more information on FRQs, we'll tackle that in the question bank presentation. So we'll encourage you to watch that. And until then, we really want to say thank you for all you're doing to support your students this year, and all you do to in support of AP. We know it's been a tough year. So thank you for all you do. Please stay safe. Please stay well. And here's wishing you and your students all the best for a successful end to the school year. Thank you very much.